G'day. My family's been living with this CX-9 Azami LE for the past 6 months and 12,000 kilometres, and it's by far the biggest SUV we've had yet, following on from the Tiguan, Escape, CX-5, CR-V, Golf R Wagon and Santa Fe that have all been through the rigorous Flynn family test before. We've already determined that the Santa Fe is more than enough for my other half and 2 toddlers, but surely the even bigger CX-9 can help us achieve even more. Today, I'm going to show you if it's worthwhile. The Azami LE was added to the CX-9 range with its latest update in late 2018 as a new top-of-the-range version beyond the existing Azami. It costs just under $2,000 more, which puts it just under the $70,000 mark, which might sound like a lot for a Mazda, but includes a bunch of stuff you'll have to spend twice as much to get in some European brands. The Azami LE details are subtle but swish and include softer Napa leather trim in the unique chroma brown colour, genuine wood trim on the centre console and door trims, box stitching on the leather steering wheel rim, and a redesigned overhead console with LED ambient lighting. And like the Azami, and much more importantly, it includes the most important safety gear plus city, highway and reverse auto emergency braking to theoretically make it very hard for you to collide with anything. If you're looking for more detail, head to the CarsGuide site to read my full 6-part review, and if you're watching this on YouTube, do us a favour and hit like and also subscribe to stay on top of all our latest videos. Compared to the Santa Fe we had before, most of the CX-9's extra 30 centimetres of length goes into its boot area. And what that means to us is that in addition to the usual pram, porta-cot, etc., there's a mountain of extra stuff you can carry as the kids grow older all the time, which is pretty indulgent, but also pretty handy. It does make do with a space-saver spare under the floor though, which means you're limited to 80 kilometres an hour or 150 kilometres when you use it, but that is the case for most new cars these days. One of the CX-9's strongest selling points is that it's a 7-seater, but as we found with the Santa Fe, we've hardly used the 7 seats, and when we have, we've had to climb in through the boot, because the child seats fitted in the second row make the second row's folding mechanism redundant. There's actually pretty decent room back here for anyone up to about my 172 centimetre height, and unlike the Santa Fe and a few of its rivals, the curtain airbags extend all the way back here to cover the back occupants properly. And don't be put off by the lack of individual fan controls back here either. The second row vents have actually been optimised to send air all the way back here in the interest of eliminating ducting to maximise headroom here while also keeping the roofline nice and low so the car doesn't look like a box. The CX-9 is also relatively unique in offering top tether child seat mounts in either of the third row positions, which is great for outright versatility, but I'd prefer to see ISOFIX back here for the ultimate child seat safety. We love window blinds because you don't have to stick those big ugly socks over your entire door frame, but it's worth noting that the CX-9s are nowhere near as effective as the Santa Fe's. Fitting the 2 child seats was my biggest requirement of a back seat, and it was surprisingly fiddly with the CX-9. In rear-facing mode, my seat's top tether strap would only just reach the mounting point on the back of the seat, so as always, it's so important to check your seat before signing on the dotted line. The other big surprise is that the ISOFIX points are hidden down these little slits in the leather, which is made much easier on newer Mazdas with dedicated plastic openings. Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted to try the bigger CX-9 was to see if there's any more room back here for Grandma than the Santa Fe. And as you may be able to tell, there actually isn't. It's not comfortable, and it's a real pain to get your seatbelt on. So it's looking like you need a full-on people mover to do this job properly. At the business end, the Azami LE is nothing short of a very comfortable and pleasant place to spend time. The design still looks great 3 years after it was first launched, and it only looks better with the Azami LE's two-tone look and very comfy Napa leather. The latest update also brought Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to the Mazda multimedia system for the first time, and if you're still unsure about what difference this makes, I can summarise its benefits in one sentence. OK Google, play The Wiggles.
Okay, asking to play The Wiggles.
You put one hand in, you put one hand out, you put one...
Another big plus of going for the big CX-9 is that according to our measurements, there's a full 10 centimetres more space than a CX-5 for front passengers ahead of a rear-facing child seat. This doesn't mean much if you're the same 172 centimetres as myself, but if you're any taller, you'll be much more comfortable. Another little tidbit for you though, is that the CR-V has exactly the same measurement as the CX-9, so you don't always have to go for the biggest SUV for the most comfort up front. Other important practicalities are covered too, with cup holders for all 3 rows of seats, there's big bottle holders in each door, and there's plenty of USB and 12-volt power points. There's nothing particularly clever about the interior, but all of the big boxes are ticked. So in a nutshell, the biggest advantage of the CX-9's extra size is its longer boot. Now, nobody buys a Mazda expecting a proper luxury car experience, but the CX-9, particularly in Azami LE guise with its swish trim and fancy leather, does just that. Mazda has continued to refine the second generation CX-9 since launch, and it's now as quiet to drive as some very expensive luxury cars, and just as comfortable, even though the Azami LE rides on big 20-inch wheels. Comfort doesn't make it floppy on a twisty road either. Even though it's still a 2-ton big SUV, it changes direction at speed with confidence. I'm still a big fan of the CX-9's engine too, with the relatively small turbo petrol designed to give its best through everyday use rather than on a racetrack, which means it makes plenty of torque at light throttle loads and low revs, which only adds to the luxury experience. It's also pretty good on fuel, with our 6-month average of 10.6 litres per 100 kilometres being pretty good for such a big petrol vehicle, and it's also much better than I'd expect from a lot of the CX-9's rivals with big petrol V6s. Yes, it is still some way from its 8.8 litre official combined figure, but we did manage to equal that number on a steady highway run, and it does it all on regular unleaded petrol instead of more expensive premium. Any negatives? Well, aside from the fiddly child seat mounting, I've also found that the cruise control likes to sit a kilometre or 2 underneath the set speed, but that's really splitting hairs. I also reckon you get most of the CX-9 magic in the base model for less than 2/3 the Azami LE's price. Is it worth going for such a big SUV with just 2 toddlers? No, it's a bit decadent, but it does leave plenty of room for future expansion, and you certainly won't feel like you're driving a bus in the meantime. And don't forget, head over to the CarsGuide site to read my full 6-part review, and also hit like and subscribe to stay on top of all our latest videos.